Chair Makucci?
Here.
Vice Chair Risberger?
Here.
Commissioner Baskin?
Here.
Commissioner Levis?
Here.
Commissioner Swan?
Here.
Commissioner Hahn?
Here.
Commissioner Parmenter?
Here.
Councilmember Walsh Russo?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. So really quick, just so everyone here knows, a few things and how we're going to be going about this meeting. We are not opening public comment this evening. We will be having a public hearing for the RSS project that will be in February. So in the meantime, just so everyone knows, we won't be reading any public correspondence today, but it will all be submitted to the record, and it will be read out loud at the public hearing in February. So anything that has been submitted to us, we'll have a chance to review it, and then all of that public correspondence will be read out loud at the hearing in February. Okay? So we have 2 orders of business today. We're going to start with our first applicant, which is Richard Brown and Levitas Realty Management. The applicant wishes to construct a fire escape on the parking lot side of the Clinton Plaza adjacent to the B-side ballroom. I want to give you an opportunity to share any updates on the project from the last meeting that we had last month. However, a lot of this has just come across the commissioner's desks. I know that not many people have had an opportunity to review these materials. And in any case, we'll have to declare ourselves lead agency for the project. So ultimately, that project will be tabled until our next meeting. February meeting will be less than 30 days out, so it will be tabled until March. But Richard, if you would like to share any updates to the project that you have with us, now is the time to do that.
My name is John McManus. I'm the engineer of record for the project, and I think you just got a set of plans. May I approach?
Yep.
Would anyone like any copies? I have 6 or 7 copies here. Is the engineer here? Any copies? There's only 2 sheets.
Yep. We all have those. Yes.
Okay, so I understand there was some discussion at the last meeting. I've since been contacted. The owner, who's here tonight, they can hopefully answer any questions I can, is here to discuss this as well. I think there was some concern about the location of these stairs. Now, real quick, there's a lot of tenants in this building. There's a lot of separation of use. There are currently some egress issues with the building itself with the use. This fire escape is obviously to get access to the 2nd floor from the back parking lot, but it's also going to increase the safety factor of the building, especially given the mixed use of the property. So there's a code review that goes along with this that will be sent to John Hester. What we're looking for is the approval for the footprint of this. What I have added to this is a very simple, rudimentary, 3-dimensional drawing showing where we're planning on putting this. So we're tucking it to the end of the building. It's the southwest side of the building. It's not going to be on the parking lot side anymore. It's not going to affect any signage or any parking. This is not going to eliminate any parking spaces. And I think the important thing to note too, I believe the engineer, I'm sorry, your name?
Robert, I'm not an engineer.
I'm sorry, who's the engineer from
Dave's
Delaware?
an engineer from Delaware.
Dave Holman with Delaware.
You had commented about the rise and run of the stairs.
No, that was me.
Okay. I have with this, I'm hoping that you consider this as part of the approval, included the commercial specifications for stairs. We are designing to the commercial specs, not the original spec plans that were sent into the code office. So that said, really all we're looking for is a 17-foot by 9-foot addition off the side of the building to put a set of stairs. I would also note that I don't believe this is actionable under seeker. I don't believe you need to declare lead agency. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Maybe not declared lead agency, the type 2 action has to be declared, you have to go through the process and.
Understood.
Sure.
Understood.
Wouldn't require a coordinator.
Understood.
Joe,
There was a delay though. I think there was are we gonna, I'll let the board continue, I'm sorry.
One thing, sometime in the late 2019, 2022, they adopted a new MU1 form-based code, which basically spells out in the MU1 district what materials can be used, what can't be used, what things should be looking like, what they're expecting to see. Now, for whatever reason, the form-based code is not integrated into the Gen Code online. but it is online under the local law at the beginning of the zoning section. So
Okay.
consider that when you're looking at materials, what you're planning to design, because that'll give you a little guidance on what's expected by the board for the
Okay,
project.
that said, I'm not planning on designing a fire escape for the code office to get a building permit until I have permission from the planning board to get, to put the footprint there, so.
Fair
That will
enough,
all
but
be,
they still need to okay the materials.
understood, that'll all be submitted with the building permit application. A full set of plans for the, is that correct?
Well, this has been kicked to the planning board at the request of the code office. As technically it's a minor site plan review, he's having it kicked to the zoning planning board, which is normally just handles major ones, but he's allowed to do that. So at this point, it's their decision. So you still need to present to them what it's gonna look like, what footprint's gonna be, what materials are gonna be used.
Okay, so this is the footprint. You can see the general shape of this building. I'm asking for site plan approval. I will not use any materials that are not allowed by the local code. That can be a condition of the approval. I'm just looking for a 9-foot by 16-foot addition, so we can keep our tenants upstairs, we can keep our recruiting station in Oneonta, where it's needed. Now, I'm gonna step back for a second, okay, I'm gonna step back, this is a personal comment. But I left here, went to school in Vermont. I made it a point to come back here and sign up through this recruiting station because I grew up in this area. And as a result, I was the first New York Marine Corps reservist that was activated after September 11th, from this recruiting station right here. I have had dozens of friends that have been saved by recruiters in this area, outside of this area, throughout this entire country. These recruiting stations are a godsend for some of our kids. I'm gonna step back into my engineering position now, that was a personal comment, but I think 30 years ago, I signed up here, and I would hate to see this place go based on a life safety issue and an egress stair issue that they need. So, that's it, we're just looking for a 9-foot by 17-foot footprint on our property, on our building. We had, how many tenants?
About 16 tenants now.
This is not just if you want to argue for the recruiting station. This is for the entire building, give us some flexibility on the use of this building. And there's a lot of opportunity there for use in an area that's very hard to find space. So that's all I have to say. I can answer any other technical questions you have. We're not looking to use any materials that are not allowed by the city. We're looking to weatherproof this. It's required by state code. So that's why I've added the code to this. We've added the exit signing, the illumination, and all that stuff will be finalized and sent to the building code. But as I discussed with John on the phone last week, we're not to give him final design with materials and everything else until we have planning board. It's only fair. Okay?
So I'm gonna push this out and offer any questions that any of the commissioners have. Prior to doing that though, I just wanna say, on behalf of the planning commission, I don't think that anyone is opposed to or doesn't understand the validity and importance of the Army Recruitment Office. Our job obviously is simply to be able to follow the code and look at the site plan and approve it as such. Robert, did you say that we don't need to declare lead agency on this?
No, you would just have to declare it a type 2 action, and your default lead agency.
Okay.
No one's gonna jump in and say, hey, DEC's not gonna come along with the DEP and say, yeah, we wanna be lead agency on this.
Right.
So,
Okay, do any of the commissioners have any questions?
I do.
Brian?
So first of all, respect.
Yes.
Thank you for what you did. Thank you for your service. Now comes the actual questions.
Mhm.
I haven't read all this, and I wasn't, because I just got it, and it's very small print. And I wasn't at the last meeting either, so I apologize for that.
I wasn't either.
Well,
So
good
we're
for
on the
us. Look
same
at
page.
us. All right. So the question becomes, we've got an air conditioning unit here,
Yep.
and we've also got some ventilation pipes here. Are those being redirected?
They're gonna all be redirected. We're gonna have to work on that with the code office.
Excellent. I also see there's a sign here for B-side.
Yep.
They would have to be consulted with to move that.
Console's right there. That's the owner of the building. He's gonna pop it out a couple feet.
Wonderful. Last question that I have, well, actually, I've got two more questions, never mind. Is there current egress out this gray door?
Yes, but not to the second floor.
Not to the second floor, that's first floor only, okay? Last question is, will you be disturbing the retaining wall that's there?
Yes. To get that 17 feet back, yes, we'll end up doing a foundation wall and pouring that, re-pouring.
Okay.
That'll be part of the building permit for the foundation.
Other questions?
This is a question for Robert. Robert, is this required by New York State Fire Code?
I haven't been in the building in years. They all have an egress 2 grade from the store. They're all relatively small. I would be surprised if it was.
I can partially answer that. We are borderline right now, I believe it's 75-foot distance from the farthest point. We're borderline right now. If they do any type of interior renovations, move a door a couple feet one way or the other, then we don't meet our maximum distance from our maximum office, let's say, recruiting office, to that front door. So there is a measurement there. And
That's if there is any work done, you're saying?
currently, they're if they do any type of renovations inside, change configurations, they very well could, and very well are, not by much, but there's a 75-foot maximum distance from your furthest door, office, let's say, or bathroom, to your closest exit. So by the time you go down the hallway, down the stairs, down the other hallway to the front door, and that's 75 feet, technically that space is not compliant with New York State Building Code, in which case you would have to have an egress. Now, also New York State Building Code does not allow for fire escapes on new buildings now. This is also an issue in Albany. I've been out to Albany where they've had issues where existing buildings, they can't fit a commercial set of stairs in because of limitations. We've got room here. So we want to move it over to the side, get it out of the parking lot way. Hopefully appease everyone there and move it. We're gonna meet the commercial requirements. We're not gonna argue with the code office about that, and we're not gonna get the state involved. So we're gonna go with commercial specifications. That's all we're asking.
My other question is, we have 16 tenants in the building. Does this help any of the other tenants?
It's only for that.
That's a loaded question. If I have too many tenants upstairs and I have a fire in the building and they're all rushing for that egress that's on the first floor, okay? As opposed to relieving those tenants from the second floor, I don't have a bottom up at the first floor. So yes, to answer your question, in the right conditions, under the right emergency, we could create more of a situation by not putting these stairs in. So yes, it helps the life and safety of the entire building. And I have to look at the entire building. So that's why it's a loaded question. It's a little hard for me to answer that and say, yes, they have a direct benefit, but in an emergency, it could be the difference between a loss of life.
Well, I think,
And that's a fact.
I think having an outline of a floor plan of the entire building might be helpful when making this decision, because I've never been inside the building, so I have no idea what
I
we're
think what he's
discussing.
wondering is it just the recruiting office that we have?
Yes, we are accessing right now, the second floor is being used as a recruiting office on that end of the building. These stairs are specifically accessing that second floor recruiting office, no other space.
Question to the building owner, is there egress for the other tenants of the building already?
The second means of egress on the second floor?
Correct, because going just from memory, excuse me, but I feel like they've all got access out the front, squared away. It's not a communal access out one door, each one has their own storefront.
The stores on Main Street, other than the recruiting office, which is much deeper than all the other stores, are shorter, and the access is out the front door. Some of them actually have two different accesses out the front door.
Okay, but no secondary, so if that access is gone, for whatever reason, there's no access out the back.
On the ones that don't have two accesses out the front,
Right.
it's just the one access.
Okay.
Can I ask, so this will be in enclosed space
Yes.
then? And then how is the door locked during, what's the access like to
there's all, well, that's all a conversation with the code office. Typically, what I would do, when I've got enough space, I can set that door back a little bit inside so it's covered, and then we can cantilever a small little, roof over the top of just the door to protect it from the elements, so it's not just a flat face and ice and everything built up, without expanding the footprint of the building, and not pushing that door far enough in, so now there's a place of refuge for someone to go and camp at night. So, it's just gonna be a standard 36-inch door, no windows, not gonna be able to look in or anything. But, well, locked except during business hours, they're gonna use the entrance. So the door is not gonna be locked except for at night, correct?
Yeah, I would think it would be sort of like a fire door from the inside with the lock
It
on the
has to be.
outside and the push.
It has to be upstairs, there's also other ways you can get in the downstairs. Does that answer your question?
Yep, and then materials, I know we haven't made final decisions on that, but would you just match the brick?
I would prefer to go with metal siding, with the brick. We're not gonna be able to match the brick, first of all, and I think with just a colored metal siding would be fine. Again, I am not familiar with the list, materials list, so I'm at a disadvantage, and I wasn't here last month either, but, we're not gonna use any materials that aren't allowed by the city.
Another question. How long has the recruiting station been in this building?
Well, at least 30 years.
That's as far back as I know.
Okay. I mean, I
Okay.
recruited out of it.
Okay, so at least 30 years. There's never been another egress, so what's changed that's requiring?
What's changed? Okay. A lot's changed. New York State Building Code has changed. The fact that you can't have fire exits anymore. There's a lot of things that have changed over the last 30 years with the New York State Building Code, and there's a lot of ways that we use offices, and also, some of these recruiters are not in the office as much as they used to be. Some of them are coming late at night, they only need to get upstairs, and they don't necessarily need to open up the front door on the Main Street side. So
But
for
we're talking
security-
about a secondary access, and you said yourself, the reason for having this was if there's a fire, to be able to get everybody out
Absolutely.
quickly.
They
So
go
if you're,
hand in hand.
if you're saying that it's somebody coming at night, I think the rest of the building's gonna be empty. So what's changed as far as regulations that's gonna require this, that makes this building safer now with a secondary egress than it did 30 years ago?
What makes it safer with the
What would,
secondary egress?
why would this make it safer? What's required that this is making it safer than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
I think what I said was, currently, if I was to go up there and measure, we are very close, if not over, the required distance to the exit. If we walk up and down Main Street, every other building, in every other apartment, in every other use, has pre-existing non-conforming conditions. That's what we're dealing with here. Just because we're trying to make something better, shouldn't force us to have to argue why someone else didn't do it. You understand?
Well, this isn't an argument. This is asking objective
Yeah,
questions.
that's.
So I think that's our
We
right to
adapt
do
and we
that.
overcome, and we move forward, and we change our laws, and things happen where we make changes. We now need a sprinkler system if you want to put a third floor on your home. You have to put a sprinkler system in.
Well, there's usually data
So-
to go along to back
Sure.
decisions
So
like that.
I'm going off the
So
New
I'm
York
asking
State-
for the data.
You can refer to the New York State
Excuse me,
building.
can I just maybe help clear up a little bit? The origin of this comes from the armed forces. About 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, this issue was raised in the shadow of the protests that were going on throughout the country. That started with Mr. Floyd's death. There are a number of recruiting stations around the country that were, in essence, under siege. So the armed forces, they approached us, the people who were in charge of the recruiting station, and they wanted, they wanted to have a second means of egress in case they couldn't get out the front door, was a big part of it. And the second part is what John has been McManus has been explaining, as a safety measure to get out quicker on it. That discussion was ongoing, and maybe with the change of administrations, it got tabled by the armed forces until about a year ago. When again, they came to us and they said, yes, we need the second means of egress there, and if you can't give us the second means of egress, we've gotta look elsewhere and we've gotta move elsewhere. Because we can't have a recruiting station where we're bringing young men in there to try and recruit them to the armed forces, and then if there's some sort of an emergency or some sort of a demonstration outside and we need to evacuate, that we can't get out of here. So that's the origin of this. And when they came back to us and they said that, and we said, okay, we'll go back to the drawing board, and we approached Tom, and it was highly recommended, and we proceeded from there. And originally, I know that there's no paperwork for this, but it was originally approved by the prior plan examiner, I think we call him here. I'm sorry, code officer, to the extent that the footings for the structure were installed and inspected by the city and were approved.
There's no approval on record for that.
Like I said, we don't have anything in writing and they don't have anything in writing, but, we don't, I can tell you, we don't normally from a hole in the wall. We manage or we operate, dozens and dozens of properties across the country. We don't do anything unless there's approval, and we don't hire contractors to do anything that's not code or not legal. That's the way we operate. And, we felt that, not just that the armed services was a long-term tenant here, but we felt that it served the community and served the country, and that we were gonna do what we needed to do to get the approval from them and to keep them here as a tenant.
So this was put forward under the premise of a fire safety issue, when it's not a fire safety issue, it's an issue about a concern about protests.
This is both.
Yeah.
We've explained all of our issues for this. There is fire code safety issues, there's a convenience issue, and there's also a security issue that was just explained.
I have another question. You mentioned before, I didn't want to interrupt, that you're either close to or over the state code for requiring a fire escape. That's a pretty big threshold.
Let me explain to you.
Okay.
If the exit is upstairs, our exit is down these stairs and into the back, right? If I take a tape measure and I lay it on the floor, from that exit all the way up the stairs to the corner of that door, and if it's over 75 feet, I'm supposed to have another exit, especially if it's on the second floor. We don't have any exit on the second floor, and there's arguments for that too with the code.
Sure.
But very close, if not right there, and I'm saying if we change a door or we're within feet.
Absolutely. So,
Okay, so-
we're an objective body, and that measurement is an objective thing. It's not opinion-based at all. It's the fact of whether or not it's required by code or it's close.
For all intents and purposes, let's assume that we don't need the fire escape. Okay? Let's assume that. Let's assume that by code, by distance, we don't. Our application still stands.
Sure,
as is,
absolutely.
And I can answer any other questions.
Absolutely, but my point is that that's a key aspect, and I understand your point.
It is, but again, it's change of use. So what we're possibly doing now is by going by that code, that specific code, we're possibly restricting the use of the upstairs in that building. So all we're looking for is some convenience. We're on our own property, we're not eliminating any parking spaces, and we need some more security and some life safety to this building. It clearly needs a second floor access. I don't think we can deny that. That's it. And we're making it to commercial standards, and we're gonna enclose it without material that you don't approve. That's it. And by the way, we gotta get going on this. This is something we got to assure our client of 30 plus or minus years, our tenant, that they currently have a place to stay. So,
Any other further questions from the commission?
Actually, I have a just to be consistent.
Mhm.
So, I understand what you're saying about I hear you. But when we get these applications, don't we typically get like information about those materials so that we do have a complete understanding
We do.
of what we're voting on? I mean, it's not a matter of trust or not trust, it's that like, this is the document. I don't think we make decisions based on contingent promises,
Okay,
it needs to be documented,
Is
right?
metal siding allowed? Is metal roofing allowed?
I mean, I believe it is.
We're gonna enclose the whole thing in metal.
I haven't studied the code that well, if you're looking at
I
me.
mean,
I-
It's all gonna be metal.
Okay, so let me just say this, a few things here. First of all, I appreciate you guys coming back with these updated plans, especially given the fact that I think a lot of our qualms that we had last month were due to a loss of potential parking, blocking signage, things of that nature. So I appreciate having these updated elevations here, but I still think, to go off of Commissioner Hahn's statement, is that we still need, I think, some additional materials from you guys in order to approve the site plan. I think for right now, tonight, I would be happy to make a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker, at least get this moving. For now, and I'll make a formal
Am
motion in a
I
second.
understanding you have no comments on the size of the building, the location of the building, the purpose and use of the building? You only have comments on the materials of the building, and you want us to wait till next month?
I think,
When I'm telling you right now, we're gonna build in all approvable materials, and if that's not enough, I'm telling you, it's all gonna be sided and roofed in metal. Metal fascia, metal.
so ultimately,
So there-
this was kicked to us from the code enforcement office because we need to be able to see what those things are specifically. I think we would also appreciate maybe having a submitted floor plan of the building. Basically just having drawings and materials that will allow us to easily make this decision and hopefully benefit you in the long run.
Okay, how far do you want me to push it?
Can I speak?
You sure can.
You know, our first set of drawings,
Yeah,
that came through were more of a
Did you make a
structural
motion?
drawing.
Okay.
I didn't make a formal motion yet. What's your name, sir?
Thomas Swallowing.
Thomas.
Our first set of drawings that, when I came here a month ago, and I went over with the codes for a month prior to that, were a structural set of drawings, okay?
But
They
this is an
showed- they
entirely
showed-
different location.
Yeah, yes, it did. But at that time, we weren't aware of the location. That's what we came here. Last month, I came here hoping to get some direction as to, you know, we were told flat out, I was told, none of these other gentlemen were involved. I was told flat out that it couldn't be put on that end of the building because that would have been a simple fix. So we backed off of that and we went back to what we got. For all materials, whether it's built down there or it's built on Main Street, the materials for a set of stairs are status, they're all the same. There's not, you know, you're not gonna put he's gonna spec with the bar grate step that's the same whether we're doing it for the city or if we were doing a fire escape for the hospital. So getting you a set of drawings to hold up a minute set of stairs, we could probably have that for you by lunch tomorrow with every single thing, you know, to push this through. What we need direction as far as, you know, yeah, let's put it at the end. So, okay, that's it. That's gonna be our only option. Let's work towards getting it at the end so that everybody's happy. Now we've boiled it down to one option.
We can ultimately only make a decision based on the materials that we have in front of us. I would make the case that I don't think that we have a complete
Are you
site plan.
telling me that for every site plan approval, you require a materials list for the buildings that you're approving?
We require a complete site plan, and that's up to the commission to determine.
Is that it, then we're gonna have to come back next month?
I'm going to make a formal motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker.
Okay, we need something else first.
That
I
is our-
second that motion.
That is our first step.
I'm sorry, you have to declare lead agency and vote on lead agency before you can declare lead agency?
We actually,
And then-
according to Robert, do not actually have to do that, given that it's a type 2 action.
then you have to, then you have to declare that it's a type 2 action and it requires no further review under seeker for this board. That's just the
That is
proper way
what,
to move forward.
that is the motion that I just made. The follow-up to that will be determining whether, and reviewing and determining whether this site plan is complete and then accepting that site plan. Since we do not consider this to be a complete site plan application, we cannot approve it at this meeting.
I'm very confused
Can
about
we-
not
can
declaring
I-
lead agency.
can we have a point of
If
order?
we
Yeah.
look back,
Yeah.
We have a motion and a
Yes.
second on the floor,
That's
it's
the
not
only
for
thing
public
that needs to be
discussion
done.
at the moment.
They've gotta
Yeah.
get that motion clear.
Can you call
Yeah.
roll, Carrie?
I can.
You made
Chair
a comment
Makuchಿ?
before.
Yes.
Vice
made a
Chair
comment.
Risberger?
Yes.
You're influencing the
Commissioner
board.
Baskin?
Yes.
Commissioner Lettuce?
Yes.
Commissioner Swan?
Yes.
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Commissioner Parmenter?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes.
I will make a further motion to table this application with further review.
Can I make a suggestion before you make your motion?
Sure.
I don't know if we've all made a decision that this is an incomplete site plan. I'm open to that idea because I think there are some areas that, you know, we could have clarity, but I think we have gotten a lot of clarity through this discussion. And I'm, you know, I haven't been here that long, but I am comparing it to other occasions where we've asked questions and gotten clarity and then approved a site plan.
Mhm.
I'm not saying this is the same, they're all different, but,
So,
I'm not uncomfortable moving forward right now.
Susan, even these materials, we just received at 5:30. I don't think, I don't wanna speak for the commission, and this is why we exist. We can go around and you can tell me what your thoughts are. I do not consider this to be,
May I-
it may be a complete site plan, but I haven't had time to review it, and I'm not going to rush that.
May I just, I was in
I don't know.
conversation with the code office, which resulted in the plan in front of you, okay? The applicant came in last month, received feedback from this board, hired an engineer who's standing in front of you now with, because of only a month to get this pulled together, have a very simple plan in front of you. You're telling me the only comment you have is the material of the building, and I'm telling you I'm gonna side it and roof it in metal, everything metal. That's the only, I could write it on the plans right now and give it to you.
I'm also not
Signature.
opposed to coming back in a week if that helps negotiate a little bit, you know, to give it more time, but it sounds like they're pressed, like,
We
you know,
couldn't do
there's
that,
some
you
middle
need 2
ground.
weeks' notice for another special meeting. so-
Correct. I also, the planning board is not going to be strong-armed into making a decision that we're not yet ready to make.
I'm
And
not-
that's the
I'm
bottom
not-
line.
All I'm saying is, my application, if you have no other comments, my application as is stands right now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back next month and I'm gonna stand before you, just like this, and I'm gonna say, it's all in metal. I'll put a note on the plan, it's all in metal. It's all by approved materials in the city. You're gonna hold this up for 30 days, when I'm telling you, I'm giving you clarification of your comment, when you're telling me you have other things to do.
Okay.
I'm asking the board, do you have any other comments after last month's review, and then our response to that, that's in front of you right now? I'm not strong-arming you, I'm just asking.
Susan, my thought is, we got this at 5:30 today. I have not had a chance to review this. I know this has changed from what we were given last month. My concern is there's nothing about the egress door itself on this, and that's putting a big hole in the side of the building. I also have no floor plan of the building in my head to know why this is necessary, when it sounds like it's not necessary according to New York State Fire Code. So having that in front of me and having more details on this drawing, knowing where that door is coming out, and having a chance to review this would help me to make a decision. And so right now, if I made a decision tonight, it would be a very uninformed decision.
I mean, we can call roll and take a vote right now to consider whether the site plan is
Can I
complete.
ask a question?
Yes,
The structure is gonna be 17 feet wide. What difference does it make if it's in the middle of that 17 feet, to the right of that 17 feet, to the left of that
Just
You're
case I
putting a
need-
hole inside of a brick building.
Yeah,
No, we're putting a
Okay.
door, one door.
putting a door.
This is what the engineers in the code office need to worry about. Is doorways, headers, things like that.
Oh, so we shouldn't have to think
No, what
about
I'm
that or
asking
talk
for you-
about that?
What I'm
Is that
asking
it?
for is for you
I'm-
to help us increase the life safety, capacity of this building and allow us to put some egress stairs off the end. Which we come back with commercial stairs after the comment, and we come back with a new location after the comment.
Look, this board is mandated by the state to make objective decisions based on data and drawings in front of us. This came to us at 5:30 this evening. I am not making a decision based on something I have not reviewed. And I would hope you would appreciate that.
And I would hope that you would appreciate that based on my requirements with the state and my licensing, when I see something that doesn't smell right, and all I'm trying to do is increase the life safety of the building.
You know, I don't
and I'm
appreciate
arguing-
that.
I'm arguing
I
that it's
don't
not
appreciate
needed,
it. You know what?
then
We need to
I'm
end
just
this.
putting it on
We're-
record.
We're calling
Yes.
order, this
I'm
issue
just
Yeah.
is
putting it on
done.
This
record.
is-
I'm concerned that this board is not concerned about life safety issues and they're brushing them aside based on, I don't know what. I have one comment.
I would like to
tonight.
know based on what?
If we're speaking.
Based on
One
what?
comment tonight, that's all I got.
If we're
Never.
speaking just about life safety, a fire escape in this location is not mandated by the New York State Fire Code.
Are you saying it's not?
It is not mandated by the New York State Fire
Yeah, hold
Code.
on, excuse me.
No one
excuse me.
attested to that.
Wait, 1 second, I'm Richard Brown, hi. Is it needed? The
Richard Brown, what's your address, please, so we know who's speaking with us?
Richard Brown,
He's our
I'm the property
applicant.
manager,
Okay.
I'm listed on your paper.
Thank you.
But, so I'm the one who deals directly with the armed forces, not the local office, but the people who oversee them. And, you know, as Bob had referenced, they told me quite a while ago, we need a second means of egress. And that's why we're doing it, because they've been a tenant for 30 years, it's the government, we've lost a lot of tenants in that building, and, you know, we're sort of an important part of your city here, that project. So all I'm saying is, you asked why now do they need it? Because they said either you give it to us, or we're out of here as soon as we can find another place. And I've been stalling them, you know, saying that, listen, just give me I'll have it, I'm gonna get an answer tonight, it's gonna be positive, and then we'll schedule a date to get started. So now we have to say, I don't know if it's gonna work out ever, and I'm just saying, that's not maybe a concern to you, but that's what's gonna happen. So they wanted it, they demanded it, you know, and what can I do? I mean, otherwise they leave, and it's another empty store on Main Street, and, you know, this is so important. We all went through the downtown revitalization, we spent $500,000 on this building or more. You know, we're really trying to be good people here, and it's not easy, and this is gonna kill us. We lose the Army, you know, they pay decent rent, and, you know, I think it's a shame to lose the government here, but, you know, that's why.
Okay?
You know, I don't know, of course it's a good idea that in a big space like that, to have a second means of egress. I'm surprised it's not mandated, but maybe it isn't. But all I know is the property managers, they said, give us that or we're out of here. At one point, they wanted like a bomb-proof safe room in there. And that's what I think Bob was referring to with they were concerned about possibly getting attacked, which has happened often at these places. And then they came back and said, no, we'll take a second means of egress. So that's the whole story there. And, you know, I don't even want to make that call tomorrow and tell her, maybe in a month we'll have an answer. You
No,
know, I don't know.
I appreciate that. However, this has been going on for 5 years, and as a New York State governing body here, there's certain things rules that we have to follow and things that we need in order to make a decision.
No, I understand that.
So that's what we're asking for, and so far, what we've been given is not enough. This is better than it was last time, but we still have not had a chance to review this since we just got this at 5:30, when you've had a month. to get this to us.
This is not becoming a productive conversation.
I agree,
You
and
have
I think we
plans
should
in
move
front of
on.
you. You got 30 more days to review them. I'll come back and let you know the same thing next month, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, and there's no way to get anything done faster than that.
No, they just railroaded.
We are moving as fast as we are able. I will make a motion.
And by the way,
to-
again, if
I'm sorry,
anything in
sir,
that
you're out of
building
line.
happens-
Yeah,
Okay,
let's go on.
I will make a motion.
I think you should listen to Ms. Lettis.
I will make a motion to table this site plan application until next month.
I'll second your motion.
Upon further review of the site plan.
But did you say it was 2 months?
So next month, our meeting is going to be a public hearing. So in theory, we can still see the case prior to the public hearing. So it will be February. Call roll.
Chair Makuchಿ?
Yes.
Vice Chair Risberger?
Yes.
Commissioner Baskin?
Yes.
Commissioner Lettuce?
Yes.
Commissioner Swan?
Yes.
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Commissioner Parmenter?
Yes.
Passes.
I cannot. I will remind everyone in the chambers that this is a place of decorum. And we will do our best to abide by that. We are going to move on to our second matter of business, which is Rehabilitative Support Services, RSS. The applicant is proposing the construction of a 3-story, 61-unit affordable housing project known as Solstice Commons to be located at 164 River Street in Oneonta. The building will occupy the northern portion of the 6.5-acre tax parcel. The project proposes to subdivide the southern portion of the parcel. See attached site plan. Hello.
Thank you for being here tonight, everyone. I just want to contextualize this next part of the meeting and say all of this passion reflects how much you care about your community. And that is something to admire when you walk in and hear the passion. So I'm pleased to be here. We are here to review the resubmitted proposed site plan for Solstice Commons, which reflects several thoughtful refinements made in response to the recommendations received through the seeker review process. Most notably, the building has shifted a tiny bit to allow for full 360-degree access for emergency vehicles, enhancing safety and site functionality. In addition to this change, our civil engineering team has incorporated a number of other adjustments based on the additional careful consideration of the comments and feedback that we have and continue to receive. Our civil engineer really led this charge, and unfortunately she's not able to be with us here this evening. However, her supervisor and mentor, Dan Brott, has kindly stepped in to represent the firm in this work, and he will walk through the technical changes because that is not my forte. Since our last submission, in fact, there is a paper that does the from to, so you can see those changes. I'd also like to thank Robert Marks, who is here tonight stepping in for Betsy Brook, who is attending to some difficult family matters. And finally, thank all of you for your time and care that you've taken in reviewing the site plan, for attending the community information and engagement session in November, and just your thoughtful and objective review of this process. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Dan and hand it over to him, who will highlight many of those changes I introduced.
Good evening. Excuse me. My name is Dan Brock from LaBelle Associates, 300 State Street, Rochester, New York. I'm here tonight to give you an update on how the project is as it is in front of you. It's been a while since the project was back in front of this board. We were last here in September, and that was the first time it was brought as it's in front of you design. So in September, at the September meeting, it was the first time the public and the board had seen it. And we took all those comments. Over the next 2 months, we've had multiple meetings with city staff, including the fire department, city staff, and Delaware Engineering. And we also, in November, had a community meeting, which had great turnout. We had about 60 people that showed up. It seemed to be very well received. We had lots of very positive comments, a lot of hard comments, questions that we had addressed. And then what we did is we took the next 5 weeks, and we took everything we'd accumulated from the board, from engineering departments, from the fire department, from the residents, and from concerned citizens that attended the meeting and gave their input. And we rolled it into the package that is presented in front of you tonight. One of the plans you should have that's got a top and a bottom view actually shows what the project was when it was originally submitted in September and what it is now. As Christine said, the building did shift about 3 feet to the southwest, but really if you look at those two pictures, two renderings, what you see is the 2 access roads that was added per fire comment. There is now a road that goes behind the building, and that's to provide 360-degree coverage as requested by the fire department. And then there is another road that goes from our parking lot out to River Street, and that has also been provided to provide a 3rd means of emergency egress for the fire department and emergency vehicles. These 2 entrances that were added are going to be gated. They're not there for the residents. They're not there for everyday travel. They are strictly there for emergency access only. Now, if gated, we'll probably have something like a lockbox on it where the fire department will have code or the key, and they'll be able to use it if needed. But they will not be open all the time. We have received, based on our submission package on the 31st of December, we have received comments back from Delaware Engineering that took into account all of our responses that we submitted last year. Of those comments, we've reviewed them. It was a memo date we received last week. Out of everything that's in there, we reviewed it, Christine and the design team reviewed it, and everything seems to be something we're willing to continue to work with. There was no what I would call a showstopper there. Everything there seemed within reasons of further discussion. There weren't any major design changes that would change the plan you have in front of you to something else. I can go through them one at a time if the board wishes, or what I could do is I could turn it back to the board and the staff and answer any direct questions, concerns you may still have, and address them independently. It's up to you.
Can I ask one question?
Of course.
The letters that we were able to review, there's a series of letters that talk about some concerns about fire access and everything. Out of those, and emergency access, out of those concerns that were identified, which ones, if any, haven't you addressed?
I believe they were all addressed. I think there are still some fire department review that was recommended from the engineering reviewer as far as, I think, a life safety plan, and I believe where the location of the fire panel is. They're all something we're willing to do. Normally at this point, we would do that as we get closer to, we bring the architect in, but we could do it with the existing floor plan. All of the items that I just mentioned were in the memo we received last week where they recommended it be addressed before final approval of the site plan. It's all things we're willing to work with and get done.
Okay, and so, like, there were some answers sometimes where you guys acknowledged it, but, like, just disagreed with the concern, so you don't have those anymore.
I think that was an earlier
Yeah.
set of responses.
Uh-huh.
We had an additional meeting and had a deeper understanding of the term recommendation versus, like, we really want this, and then we went ahead and made changes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I believe that's what you're.
That is, and I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't believe there's anything outstanding in all of the previous comments we received from the staff that we didn't come to an agreement with the person that made the comment to be able to come up with a solution or something in between.
Okay, thank you. That was my main concern, so.
And there's still going to be an opportunity for the fire department to review the plans. We haven't received direct comments back from them, but we've met with them about a month after, or 2 weeks after we made the initial application. And then we met with them again another 2 weeks after that to make sure that we had everything fine-tuned and addressed.
fire truck around this whole thing.
Yeah, in our final set of plans, which actually in our original submission plan, we actually move a turning movement that shows where the tires would go and how it would go through a full parking lot, just in case.
How do you plan to prevent unauthorized access from River Street on your emergency?
And that will be, well, there'll be a gate there.
Okay.
As far as, and that keys will be, or the key or the lock, depending on how the fire department determines they'd like it to be accessed.
Okay.
They will be the only ones that have the code, as well as the property owner.
Now, as I recall, that was a pedestrian walkway originally.
Originally, it was just a sidewalk that connected two that would be lit. This road would be, we were just talking about before the meeting on what the composition of the road would be. Whether it's gonna be pavement or stone. It shows on the plan as if it's gravel, but very likely that could be a paved road. Easier for plowing, easier for walkability. And then it would be lit, just like we'd be lighting the path.
And would those gates, as you say, would they block handicap access? Or how would pedestrians get around those gates?
Most likely, what we would do, which is, it's a great question, it's not on the plan.
Thank you
But
for
we
that,
would
yeah.
we would have a little, like a sidewalk, if we're connected to a sidewalk,
Yeah.
which I believe we are on that side. I think, so what we would do is we would simply provide access off the road on one side around it to
Okay.
provide ADA accessibility through that.
And you're meeting setback requirements on this additional access roads?
As far as, yes,
A foot?
yes,
Good.
yeah. Yeah, and that's why we shifted the building.
Yep.
With the grade on that side, we shifted it enough so that we could make a transition that wasn't outlandish or unsafe for anybody that happened to be walking along that path.
Right. Thank you.
Questions from the commission?
So you said if it's paved in the winter, will there be a plan to like plow this
They have to.
routinely? Okay.
So anything that's considered an emergency access road would have to be maintained between 65 days. So we were just talking about beforehand, it would be something that would be written in with the plow agreement to be able to maintain.
So, just really quickly, I know there's a lot of people here that are very interested in this project and its status with the city. Unlike our previous application, this one has been one that has been in our hands for a very long time. The commission has seen this project. We have heard multiple presentations from RSS, and as you mentioned, RSS and the city and our consultants, Delaware Engineering, have had multiple meetings over the course of the past 2 months to be able to resolve some of the what was deemed to be considered an incomplete site plan in November and December. So this coming to our plate now, I just want to reiterate, it's not the first time that we have seen these materials, and they were also uploaded and are all available to the public on the city website. So you have access to all of these materials, even if you don't have them right in front of you. Currently, you do have access to those. I would also like to emphasize that our consultants, Delaware Engineering, have been working tirelessly to work through this application and have provided comments on their initial submittals. They've necessitated minor revisions that RSS has come back with on both the site plan and the environmental assessment form that was received on December 31st. And given those things, if we don't have further questions from the commission, I would like to make a motion. Ryan?
Point of clarification, where did this binder come from? This is not from the city?
No, this is not from the city. That is from,
Bill Shu, it was submitted yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
yep, so that is correspondence that has been submitted to
Excellent.
the planning commission
Thank you
in
for
regards
clarifying.
to this project. Again, we will be having a public hearing for this in February. People will have an opportunity to make their voices heard. We are open to and would like to hear from all of you. Nonetheless, we still have to do a full seeker review. We will not be doing that this evening. Again, these things take time. We appreciate your patience in working with us as we move through, these necessary criteria for us to be able to make these decisions. I would like to make a motion to declare the site plan for this project complete.
Second.
Can I ask a question, please?
We are not open to public comment. I want to be very clear about what this motion is. This is not a motion to approve the RSS project. This is a motion to consider the application complete so that we can then go in to do our seeker review. This is not approving the RSS project, just so everyone is very clear. This is saying that all the materials that we have requested and our consultants at Delaware Engineering have requested and the Code Enforcement Office requires have all been submitted to the city in order for the Planning Commission to move through seeker to be able to make this decision. We will not be going through seeker. But RSS has submitted the necessary materials as requested through our consultants and the city of Oneonta to be able to consider this a complete site plan application.
Can you repeat that last part about the seeker, what'd you say?
Okay, I'll say it again. All I am doing right now, as the chair of the Planning Commission, is making a motion to declare the site plan complete as it has been submitted by RSS, given the last 2 months of revisions and work with the city and our consultants at Delaware Engineering to consider this application complete. Once that is done, in February, we will have a public hearing. People will have the opportunity to have your voices heard. We will listen. We will read public correspondence. Then, in March, we will go through seeker line by line by line by line. So this is not to say that we are approving the RSS project. This is to say that they have successfully submitted all the materials that have been requested by the Code Enforcement Office, the Planning Commission, and our consultants at Delaware Engineering. Is that clear to everyone?
Can you give us the date in February?
No, we do not have a date for the public hearing yet, but it will be announced to the public, and Carrie sends out
That's where
public,
you'll get your postcards.
You will get your postcard. It will be public notice, and that will be open.
Can I jump in? The reason why we haven't had a date yet for February is because the regular date falls right during most people's vacation during February, and when people are off, and we don't want to do that when people are away. So
We want as many people to have access and ability to attend the public hearing as possible. Right. Then in our March meeting, our regular Planning Commission meeting, which is always the third Wednesday of the month, we will go through here in Chambers and we will go through seeker piecemeal. Does everyone understand that?
Will that be a public meeting?
All of our meetings are public, just like this one that we're having right now.
So we'll be able to hear you go
There will
through
be
line by
nothing,
line?
no decisions will be happening behind closed doors. Everything will be in Chambers here, just as we are right now.
And you're not declaring anything on the seeker today?
No, we have declared to be lead agency for this project. That was a 30-day walk. Then we also declared, we made a motion in, I think that was in November, to bring on outside consultants to be able to move through this site plan application and request revisions and or additional materials. That has been done. Delaware Engineering has kindly come on to help us with this project. They have been working, again, I will reiterate, tirelessly and very frequently in meetings with RSS and all of their staff to be able to submit, request, and put in all of the requirements of revisions to be able to consider the application complete. So, for everyone that was in this room for the prior application, basically we did not deem that application to be complete. This application, given the materials that have been submitted to us by RSS over the course of the last 2 months, and particularly after December 31st, we are considering this to be, or I am making a motion currently to consider the site plan for the RSS project complete.
Where was the decision made that RSS could have such a facility in the city of Oneonta?
There's no, This property is zoned residential, and there's absolutely no zoning
Where's the
requirement that
decision in the
prevents
city of
them from being
Oneonta?
able to do so.
Where did it come from to have a facility such as this in the city of Oneonta with the okay of the residents? Where does that come from?
There
Is
is,
it the planning that's gonna go
sir,
ahead and let this
sir, with
go
all
ahead
due
and go?
respect,
Or is
with all
the
due
decision
respect,
of the
this
people
is
gonna
not
have a say in
open, this is not open to public
I don't
comment.
care.
We have a
We
public
made a
hearing.
decision That this is not right to be pushed on the city residents of Oneonta.
Sir,
And if you
you're out of
guys
line.
don't do the right diligence, you're gonna have a hell of a.
Our-
Sir, if you're not gonna follow
our-
the rules of the
our
meeting, we'd ask you to
diligence.
leave.
Our diligence as the planning commission is to go through environmental review. That is our requirement as the planning commission for the city of Oneonta.
Chair,
We are doing that.
I think one of the things that's hard for people to understand is that we follow a very specific regulations, the
Absolutely.
code, and we are bound by that, and it actually doesn't even include public comment.
It
And
does
that
not.
That's just the way it is. So
Simply said, thank you, Susan.
it's hard to understand that.
I do understand that. I know that this is an issue that is very important to many people. Again, we will be having a public hearing. We do want to hear you. We are not making any decisions right now on the RSS project. We are simply making a motion to consider their site plan for the RSS project to be complete.
You have a motion and a second.
I have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Let's call roll.
Chair McCucci?
Yes.
Vice Chair Risberger?
Yes.
Commissioner Baskin?
Yes.
Commissioner Lettuce?
Yes.
Commissioner Swan?
Yes.
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Commissioner Parmenter?
Yes.
Passes.
Motion passes. Considering that this is now considered a complete site plan, I will once again make a motion to declare the planning commission lead agency for this project.
Second.
Second. Questions from the commission?
Can this be appealed to the zoning board?
It cannot. It is not a zoning issue. This property is zoned residential. It is not, there's,
If they
We
declare
have a
that
motion and a
it's
second on the floor.
Yeah.
incomplete?
call roll, please.
Chair McCucci?
Yes.
Vice Chair Risberger?
Yes.
Commissioner Baskin?
Yes.
Commissioner Lettuce?
Yes.
Commissioner Swan?
Yes.
Commissioner Hahn?
Yes.
Commissioner Parmenter?
Yes.
I am also, just for everyone's benefit, going to read a draft resolution, just that can hopefully give you a little bit more clarity as we move forward. Yes, ma'am.
Just knowing that you said that you're going to have the February meeting, and part of the complication is that it's, you know, near the big vacation time. I don't know how it fits with everybody else, but I would rather hope that maybe the meeting was prior to that, otherwise it's real close to your March meeting.
We will give a 2-week advance notice of when the public hearing will occur, and we will attempt to be as accommodating to people's schedules as we can possibly be.
I just, thinking of what people say, if it's close to the next meeting, there's not as much consideration time. That possibly you consider having it earlier in February than the end of February.
We will
And
do
I
our,
realize that you're-
we will do our best to do that. Yep, we just need a 2-week advance notice to be able to send out a public notice. Carrie will put something on the calendar, and we will try to adhere as much to that date as we possibly can.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to read a draft resolution. Whereas the City of Oneonta Planning Commission has reviewed the submittals received from Residential Support Services, RSS, in regard to, Rehabilitation Support Services, in regard to the site plan for the proposed 61-unit apartment building located at 164 River Street, known as Solstice Commons. Whereas the Planning Commission and their consultants, that is Delaware Engineering, etc., have provided comments on the initial submittals that necessitated minor revisions to both the site plan and the full environmental assessment form, or FEAF, received December 31st, 2025. Whereas the revised documents were reviewed for compliance with the local site plan review code. Now, therefore, be it resolved that 1. The City of Oneonta Planning Commission has determined that the submitted site plan material constitute a complete site plan application, allowing the site plan review process to proceed. 2, for the purposes of complying with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, this is SEQR, the City of Oneonta Planning Commission declares their intent to act as lead agency. That is the second motion that I just made. And 3, the proposal represents an unlisted action, and the Planning Commission intends to conduct a coordinated review with other involved agencies. So basically, this is giving us another 30 days to hear back from anyone else that might want to declare lead agency on this project. We additionally, as I mentioned before, will be going piecemeal through seeker, and that will happen following our public hearing in February. So that seeker review will happen or begin to happen in March. Okay? I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.